Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red, this Friday morning, this wonderful, beautiful day ahead of us. Matthew chapter 12, and we're looking at verse 4. Jesus, yesterday, having began that introduction into this challenge that was come to him by the Pharisees, when they said to him, in effect, why are your disciples eating the grain? Why are they breaking the Sabbath? Why are they not keeping the rules? Why are they not establishing the law? Why don't they stay within the boundaries? Why is what they're saying. And Jesus, in response, presses them and says, haven't you read? Meaning, you know what the scriptures say. You know what's recorded in the Bible about David. And he goes on and talks about David and his men. And in verse 4, he says, how he entered the house of God. That's David. How he entered the house of God, and they ate the consecrated bread, which was not lawful for them to eat, nor for those who were with him, but for the priests alone. And this consecrated bread was something that was caught up in the Levitical law that you can read about in the Old Testament. But basically there was this bread that only priests were allowed to eat because they were sanctified and set apart. They were there for the service of the Lord. And David, in effect, came into the place and he ate in the temple the consecrated bread and gave some to his men. And God is not issued by that. God doesn't judge David for that. And Jesus is saying, haven't you read? Do you know what the scriptures say about what David did? And he's really building up to trying to help people understand that, yes, God has made rules and God has made laws, but he made them because there was a reason behind them. And there was this sense in which the Levitical laws were given in order to establish a means by which the people could sustain a holiness about them, to enable them to be in a relationship with God that they could never even obtain because of their rebellion and their hard hearts. But the law and the sacrifices provided a way to recover and to retain something with God. Sadly, they always abandon it, but that was there for that reason. And Jesus is saying that the laws were made, but there was for a reason they were made. But sometimes there's a need for us to act, even if it seems like we're breaking, as it were, the Sabbath laws. And Jesus was like when the woman was caught in the act of adultery and they want to stone her, and he doesn't stone her, and he could have stoned her, and he says to them, he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. And Jesus introduces us to the royal law of love. Brothers and sisters, God has made rules and God has made laws, but he's made them because they're righteous. And there are times when we need to just press in, or even on those laws, sometimes even press into the line. And it's a very difficult balance. But the answer to living in freedom is not being mindful of the lines that are there, but being mindful of the person you're with within the lines. And that's why we are to walk according to the Spirit, so that we don't satisfy the desires of the flesh, so we don't get drawn across the lines, but that we live in the freedom of the lines. We need boundaries. And sadly, the world has pushed the boundaries of righteousness further and further and further apart. And no one knows where the lines are. The sand has been covered the lines. We can't see the lines. Everybody's confused, which is why everything is breaking down and everything is confused and lost and disturbed. And it's all cloudy because no one knows where the lines are. We need the lines, but we don't need to be bound by the lines. We need to live in the freedom of the lines. And when we're in a relationship with God, we can live in the revelation of the freedom of in the lines. Well, lots to think about. Have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you reading the Red Monday morning. Hallelujah.